Welcome everybody, it's Tractorchute here for Tiddlywink Tuesday, where we got ourselves a new submitter, a new beast on the floor. In the upper left-hand corner is the random man, Riddima. In the bottom right corner is the beast from the east, the submitter of the replay. It's KeithStone. KeithStone, loving the name. He will be playing as the blue Protoss. We're going to have ourselves a Protoss versus Protoss in case you haven't figured that out already. And if you haven't, I recommend you start taking your pills. This should be a doozer here. We'll get this baby off to a little 2x ruckus start. Does appear we are going to start down there for KeithStone with the pylon. Looks like he's going to fend off the natural and get himself an expo. It is a sure thing whenever you see the pylon go down in front of that ramp here. Pylon 4, random riddima, has been placed in the base here. He goes back and forth. That freaking probe said, I don't like this sand over there. I'm getting back. You know, he goes back again. Now he's thinking, you know what? Maybe I will build something. And now I will go back to work. Both these guys not scouting. That's what I like to see. It is random riddima sitting in the Silver League. KeithStone sits in no league at all. He's a league of his own, but he is unranked in case you really want to know. And he has a level 1. So level 1 unranked versus silver and random riddima. Does get that forge out nice and early there with the photon cannon going down here. So he's going the forge photon cannon, but I'm not going to chrono boost my probes because I'm too damn good build. Over here we do have the gateway. So we got a pylon gateway into a forge. Definitely not the best build order I've ever seen in my life, but fair enough. And in case you're wondering, let's start this baby out with the hotkey of M. We are going with APM 27 to 13. What a doozer we have going on here with that kind of APM. This is insane. He does get down to cybernetics core and gets into a nice little gas build there. Over at the other end, we do have the gateway with the forge build up as well. If we take a little look at our production tab here, as you can see, we don't really need to see timing since both these guys have the oddest timing and build order I've ever seen in my life. Here we do have a second cannon going down here, do have an assimilator and a cyber core going down for random riddima. And he also does not believe in chrono boosting. So both these guys say chrono boosting is for the birds, and they're both going to let that go. Over here, finally, his cybernetics core is going down for KeithStone. He is over here still at his base and no chrono boosting. He might have chrono boost somewhere in there because his chrono boost does appear like it has been used, so maybe he knows how to use it. Gas is being mined out there for random riddima. Don't need gas for KeithStone, but he has decided, you know what, that might be a damn good idea, because then maybe I can get something other than a Z-Lot. He does get himself a couple cannons in a row there. What a beautiful build he's going here. Not entirely sure when he's going to expand here, but maybe he's going to build himself the most cannons we've ever seen at a ramp before expanding here. So he does finish off the second one there. I do see that he also lets that probe just stand there. Does not want that probe to get too busy and do something other than stand there and wait for buildings. Does have 3 more gateways. We are going with a 4-gate build. Do have more gate technology coming out. Is chrono boosting, so he's well aware that the chrono boost is an applicable resource. Does come down the ramp here with a stalker. That stalker is going to look to get a little bit of intel as he's going to head across the map here. This is the 5-minute standard Silver League Scout. Love to see it, my good man. Over at the other end there, we have still the random standing there KeithStone probe, as well as the double gas going with 2 and 3 respectively. Has built some cannons in the middle line as well. Very well done. This one that builds the cannon does not get a break, so did not do a well enough job. This stalker is over here, does come up to the other end, and that should tell him that the ramp is walled off as he, I'm assuming, clicked up into the base, but did not go there due to it being blocked. Does shoot the rocks one time, though, just to show him who is boss, so apparently he is better than the rocks. He will now try and walk up that ramp, will not like what he sees, does get hit a few times, might get out of there, does get out of there. Very well done, saving that stalker here. And as you can see on the production tab, not a whole heck of a lot, but we do have level 1 upgrades coming out of KeithStone. Very well done. Warp gate technology is slowly finishing up there for random riddima. Does have that 4-gate pumping out Z-Lots, so very well done there as well. If we do look at the other end, does look like KeithStone is getting a little bit intrigued here. He's thinking, you know what? I think I might expand. No, I've been sitting down here long enough. We got up our 3 cannons. We got our 1 gateway. We have our cybercore. We have our forge. And we have our 2 pylons and a stalker. You know what? I think that's time to expand, he says. So he does get the expo out. Is getting the double gas on the expo. Very well done there as well. He is still sitting up here. Has been chrono boosting. So he obviously knows what the chrono boost is as well. Still likes to sit the 2 probe count on that gas. That is a standard expert level build, I think, there. When you put 2 on there, it really uses the best ability to get the most gas out of there. You don't want to put 3 on there, otherwise they get a little bit stuffed up in there. You know, they're like, get out of there, you're stuffing up all my space, I'm scared, and stuff like that. So what they'll do is you put 2, but he has actually put 3. So one of the pros that says, you know what, 3 is the amount we need in here. So we're going to go 3 and 3 on the gas. This is a very brilliant build by KeithStone. At the other end, he is still 3-3 here. He is getting into a, is that a double robo on one base? This is magnificent. Double robo on one base. He says, you know what? The hell with it. We're going to go 6 gateway, double robo, 1 base. And he is going to expand. Thank goodness. I was getting worried. So he will expand off of that there. Might want to start the Nexus, then the double robo and double gate there to get the production buildings. But you can do it in whatever order you want. You are Random Riddima. Random Riddima still electing to not get the upgrades as they are for the babies. The cows can have the upgrades. And at the other end, KeithStone has double gas and nobody mining off them, but I'm sure he will eventually get some probes out to do that work. He's not building anything on the Nexus here. Does have a little bit of money in the bank, but not a whole heck of a lot here, so would have to imagine that maybe some probes might start coming out pretty soon there. Let's take a look at the army count in case you are interested. We have 8 Zealots, 5 Stalkers for Random Riddima, but we have 2 Stalkers and 2 Sentries for KeithStone. But Random Riddima also has a very badass probe that will sit at the bottom of the base here, realizing, you know what, I better get back to work. I better get to the top of the ramp. Now I'm going to build myself a pylon. This seems like a very good idea at this point in time. Let's pull up that APM tab, as I'm sure we have progressed in that. Yes, 40 to 20, so we have maneuvered ourselves into a great big APM count. I love it. But at the other end here, KeithStone here, he's sticking to that 20 APM. He says 20 APM, like it or leave it. Does get the Twilight Council out there. Very brilliant move. Also has out the double robo. Apparently double robo is a very common build that this map was played. We are getting the double immortal count coming out as well here. Maybe Random Riddima is starting to realize off of one base and the second base just starting to get going. It is very hard to maintain a good enough build out of all your production buildings here, as he does not really have a lot of money. But KeithStone at the other end, he's saving up, showing him that I know how to manage my finances properly. He gets a, robotics facility. I bet you can guess what we're going to go in this build. Might see seeing ourselves some Colossi. Do not get Zealot legs or blinks, so definitely didn't want to do anything like that. Maybe using that Twilight Council for some upgrades, I would have to imagine. If we take a look at the upgrade count here, does have level 2 coming out here and level 1 for shields. He says, you know what, who needs the ground armor? Very well done. Do have a fairly hefty army at the other end here. Look at that APM go. Let's take a look at our production tabs here. Boy, I got the hiccups here. Both of them doing the same thing here. The only thing different between their two builds is basically the lack of upgrades and the one retarded mortal that's stuck right in the middle of everything. Oh, sometimes I worry myself when I watch some of you people out there. What is he doing? Alright, so then he's going to be stuck there barring we get a warp prism out, or he gets really mad and starts blowing away the buildings around there here. If we take a look at the other end here, I imagine we could probably speed this up. Both these guys have no intention of moving on the map here. The most scouting we had was the one stalker that got halfway up that ramp. There we go. Production buildings coming out like crazy. Does have 4 gate, 5 gate. Wowzer, we're getting crazy over here. Does have a Colossi coming out at the same time here. Both these guys now holding a fairly high mineral count. Would have to imagine that we might start seeing some spending happen and see these armies start to increase at a dramatic pace. KeithStone, 13 minutes in the game, is rocking 70 food count. What a magnificent player. You know that level 1 was misleading. I think this guy's probably going to rank himself close to Masters, probably high diamond at the very least. Does also have that overseeing Colossi who stands at the top of the ramp. He says, I am your leader. Stands right up there, has no intentions of moving. We'll make sure nobody gets up that ramp. Meanwhile, all the little peons at the bottom there, they will rot that bottom ramp. There we go. 5th gateway does finish off there. Does have the 5 gate technology. Still getting the upgrades here. Does have the shields level 1 coming up to support the ground level 2. Down at the other end there, he is getting a fairly good count here. Oh, what do we have here? Thermal Lance. It does look like Random Riddima is going with Thermal Lance. I would have to imagine KeithStone has already gotten that upgrade, as it would be silly not to. Very well done for him. And still going to stick without the Zealot legs or blink, so definitely didn't want to do that. Does have 3 Stalker on the field here, so getting a nice, or it's not Stalker, Colossi count. Is getting 2 more out, so we're going with the standard 5 Colossi build with a bunch of Stalkers and a couple of Zealots. Let's take a look at that unit tab, actually. Not too shabby. Let's take a look at Random Riddima first. We have the 3 Immortals, the 2 Colossi, the 5 Stalkers, and the 3 Sentries. Very well done. KeithStone, on the other hand, has 4 Zealots, 3 Colossi, 5 Stalkers, and 2 sentries. So both these guys are probably going to sit back and wait until they can accumulate 200 food, I would have to imagine. They have at least gave me that impression. There we go. That army there, you see that? That's what happened. They got so far out here, but they realized they're so young they don't want to leave home yet. So they ran right back up that ramp. They don't want to do anything stupid like get out onto the map and move. That would be very, very silly. You might actually find something and kill it. Don't do that, buddy. Just stay there. Please don't go too far out. Does he actually have some Templars in there as well? No Templars. Those are just the sentries showing me that purple bar there. Okay, good. Don't want them to mix into too many super units here. All right, at the other end here, we have this stalker here who is killing the pylon. Very well done by KeithStone. Why have a pylon sitting in the middle of the ramp there when you can just blow it away? There he goes. Does let out the next. Lets the probe out. That probe is going to expand to a 3rd base here. Does put up a couple pylons first, and now he will head over, and I have to imagine expand at this point in time here. So now that he's got a clear route out of the ramp there, everybody's confused saying, what do we do? What do we do? They're all going to stand back at the base here. We're going for the massive Colossi Wilder 368 Colossi build. Fairly standard build if you ask me. So those Colossi should be a fairly good counter to Wilder 6 Colossi at the other end. So both these guys really like their Colossi. And we have a mothership core. We're getting serious in this game. We can almost slow this down. Is he going to move out of that base? They have both planted their 3rds. These guys are both at the high-end league. Diamond level, I would have to imagine. I'm surprised this guy got put in the silver. Random riddima is showing me some pretty sick maneuvering by sitting at his base and not moving at all. This is a very tense game here. We do have 8 Colossi to 10 Colossi of KeithStone. KeithStone with loving the Colossi, getting out himself another double gas into the Nexus here. Does have everything fully saturated up there. Have to imagine he's pretty much mined out up here at this point in time. He is going to get all his army down at the very bottom of the base here. Is getting a lot of Zealots. A little bit surprised he didn't go with Zealot legs, or maybe we missed it. Let's see. And yes, Zealot legs and blink, both researched. This is freaking brilliant. Let's take a look at our production tab here. We are also getting ground level weapons level 3 by KeithStone. KeithStone's pretty damn serious about his upgrades. Finally, 200 food has accumulated for random riddima. I would have to imagine that is the sign to move out if I've ever seen a sign to move out. He is going to stand there instead and do a great big probe transfer to the bottom. These probes are going to help the army. Here we go. Probes are going to lead the charge. Go! Woo! Probes going out there. They're leading this charge. No, they say this is the stupidest idea I've ever seen. They're going to move back here. Everybody's going to get back together. You see, baby steps, baby steps. Slowly he's going to get across the map here. KeithStone on the other hand, he's really taking the baby steps too. He's gotten out this far onto the map. Meanwhile, Random Riddima has gotten out all the way. I believe he got all the way out to here. So he doesn't really want to get too far into the deep water. If you've ever watched Finding Nemo, it is key that you stay close to your home. He does have 13 whole probes here. These probes here must have done something damn retarded that he's setting them out in the war. Does he actually have probes in this army, or did he actually move them over to mine? Let's see here. Let's go. Oh, there. Yeah, good. All these probes. They're going to boot camp, I think. So those are the badass probes. They get sent out to boot camp here. No probes in the army of KeithStone. I wonder why. That seems like such a brilliant idea, but apparently doesn't want to do so. But he will wait for that 200 food count. Does have the Colossi up here, apparently too good to stand with the rest of the army. So they're going to stand up here, be the boss of the toss. And they're oh my god. All right, let me see that count there. He does have 11 Colossi, so he does have the record from what... Holy! What is going on? They have gotten some balls. We're moving out here. He does have the probes up the front line there. Boot camp probes are going to head up there. Boot camp probes are going to run to the army first here. Zealot legs are going to rush in. And then bam, bam, bam. Boot camp probes. Zealot legs here. Skip the boot camp probes. Wow, look at all the Colossi. They're going to melt away at these Zealots. There goes all the Zealots. He's bringing them all into the army here. Here comes the boss. Toss Colossi up there. All these Colossi are melting in the back end here. All the Colossi are going back and forth, killing all the mining units. They're soon going to have a rumble of themselves here. It does look like the boss toss Colossi aren't going to stand at the top of the ramp. They're slowly going to get in the army out the other toss units. Here we go, Colossi versus Colossi. Who's going to win this? It does look like Random Riddima's army might have the upper advantage here. He does have a few more stalkers here, and he is slowly melting through KeithStone's army. This is not good for KeithStone, but it is a very close battle. Does have 3 more left here. 2 more left here. A lot more Zealots coming in. There we go. Zealot legs should help. They should be able to melt the rest of that army there. Very well done. Fairly even battle. Will move out here now. Does have 5 Zealots and a Colossi. They are going to slowly make their way all the way out to this sandy part, about 200 feet from the base. Very well done. Don't want to get too far out there. Does warp in some more units here. Looks like he's ready to Oh, wow. Does actually look like he is really ready to move out here. He is slowly getting his army up there. Has 5 more stalkers coming in the back door here. In the back door. That was good. All right, he's going to move himself across that map here. We have this random observer here. That observer will scout that army and realize what is coming his way. If you want to take a look, he has managed to put together 1 immortal, but now does get 6 zealots out there, so we'll have something to at least try and defend this here. But he does do the sneaky move. KeithStone's got some balls here. He's going to try and go up the rocks route here, I would have to imagine, or maybe he was just looking for an expansion here. Here we go. These 6 zealots are going to stand here. They realize, you know what, we got to wait for 200 food before we can move. KeithStone instead, he says, I'm going to walk right up that mountain and blow away everything I can. He's starting to go at the pylons here. Here comes the stalkers and the zealot count coming around here. They're going to sneak in. These zealots are oblivious. They're going to stand there like a bunch of retards, not let anything happen. Here we go. Melts away at those immortals here. Immortals are going to go down fairly quickly here. And it is just done right. There we go. Does take them out here. Does have all the stalkers coming to the base here. Will kill all these well-placed, strategically placed pylons there. Does say good game, does random riddima, who did try his darndest on the 4 base there. Did have $2,900, so if anything, he can go out and have himself one party tonight with that amount of money. Very well done by you, KeithStone. My condolences to you, riddima, and I will leave you with the saying of the day. Remember the Friday challenge as well. Saying of the day: if Popeye's white and Yogi's brown, don't pick up the soup. Thanks so much for watching. You be good. Don't hurt nobody. Peace.